Hey, you guys, Namaskaram. I'm sure you might have read the title thinking he might say some provocative stuff. He's trying to defame us and things like that. Maybe our egos are being hurt and all of that. So, before starting this video, I just want to give a disclaimer that this video is not addressed to every NRI because a lot of NRIs have given a lot of, you can say, value and contribution to the great developments that we see in the world, but there are like just certain behaviors and patterns which just came upon my feed, and I couldn't resist making a video on them. So let us start by seeing some of these clips together, and then I just wanted to kind of add a perspective as to what is it that I really want to say. So, okay, this is the first screen. So you see, firecrackers are being burned. All of them are making noises. There, some are acting as a sense of defile. Some are making noises, and the whole firecracker kind of department is the fire department is kind of trying to burn those firecrackers. This is the first one. Now the second one. So you see all this filth lying there. It's in London, wherein it says that Southall and Membi are the two heartlands of the Indian community in London. In Southall, often called Little India, so and so happens, and then you get the point. Basically, the junk that we are trying to emulate, right, which exists within our country, we are trying to emulate that outside as well. Okay, let me share one more. So this is from Tibet. Instead of doing meditations and persevering peace, they are dancing, and then a lot of comments. I think a lot of Indians hate Indians because of these habits, but I'll get to that. A lot of comments you see, even racists kind of get the better half because, of course, this behavior is something uh, which is short of words, right?
No, it's basic
There is no
sense.
outside. There's multiple notes that say you should be
Different
trying
sense. Everybody uses different sense.
different
So,
sense.
so basically, you're telling me you don't have no common sense.
Yeah, you told me to.
Cinema in London stopped a movie halfway after audience members created a significant mess. The film being screened was an Indian movie, and according to reports, the disruption began when some people in the audience started throwing popcorn, dropping food, and leaving trash all over the floor while cheering during the scenes. Staff were forced to pause the screening to step in and address the situation. One of the audience members was heard saying, "There's no sign saying we can't throw our popcorn on the floor while enjoying the film." In response, a Cineworld staff member replied, "Come on, this is common sense. That kind of behavior is not appropriate." The intervention was necessary to remind the audience about proper cinema etiquette and respect for shared spaces. The incident quickly spread online, with footage of the disruption and staff intervention going viral on social media platforms. Many people reacted strongly to what happened, pointing out how disruptive and disrespectful the behavior was, while others mentioned that cinema etiquette can vary depending on the country and cultural expectations.
Okay, one more because this is
to say this, but अगर तुम्हें ये हरकतें करनी है तो don't come to America. अमेरिका मत आओ अगर आपको ये हरकतें करनी है तो. ये चीप हरकत है. पटाखे फोड़ रहे हैं. पता है ना, इलीगल होते हैं पटाखे फोड़ना अमेरिका में. नारियल फेंक के मार रहे हैं सड़क पे, दूध चढ़ा रहे हैं, गंद मचा रहे हैं, शोर मचा रहे हैं. एंड इफ दिस इज नॉट इनफ, एक और देखो. बंद करवा के मारेंगे. इंडियन मूवी स्क्रीनिंग जो होती है ना अमेरिका में, बंद करवा के मारेंगे. ये वाली क्लिप सिएटल की थी. सब जगह कहीं नहीं छोड़ा। शिकागो देख लिया, डैलस देख लिया, सियाटल देख लिया, अटलांटा देख लिया, कहीं नहीं छोड़ा। खूब छिछोरी हरकतें कर रखी है सब जगह जाके। ये शोर शराबा ओपनली क्यों कर रहे थे हम थिएटर के अंदर? प्राइवेट जगह पे क्यों नहीं कर सकते? किसी के घर में क्यों नहीं कर सकते थे? सीरियसली, अगर ऐसी हरकतें करनी है, डोंट कम टू अमेरिका। और अमेरिका तो छोड़ो, यूके की क्लिप देखो आप।
This celebration is not in India. It's in Coventry, United Kingdom for Pawan Kalyan's OG movie. ಹಾಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಪವನ್ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣ್ ಅವ್ರ ಫ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಸೆಲೆಬ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಬ್ಯಾನರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿಸಿ ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೇಕ್ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹಾಗೆ ಪಟಾಕಿ ಕೂಡ ಹೊಡೆದ್ರು. ಒಂದ್ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಹಬ್ಬ ತರ ಥಿಯೇಟರ್ ಮುಂದೆ ಹೇಗ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ನೀವೇ ನೋಡಿ. ಕೂಡ ಅವ್ರ ಸ್ಲೋಗನ್ಸ್ ಅವ್ರು ಇನ್ನೂ ನಿಲ್ಸೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿ.
इसी रीजन से कनाडा, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, यूके, जापान, सारी कंट्रीज एंटी इमिग्रेशन हो गई हैं। सब जगह एंटी इमिग्रेशन रैलीज निकल रही है क्योंकि nobody wants you in their country. No thanks. Don't come to America. I hate to say this.
In this clip, you see, like, there's a legit influencer with 11K followers. He's saying, I'm a Telugu and live in the US. I've done several videos calling out this behavior, the impact of immigration globally, the stereotypes that are forming, and the backlash of the community. The response I get is called names. You understand when a female talks about this, what is the prevalent names that come. I have a CEO of a company who commented on my post asking me, when fans don't care, why do you? I had another person comment that they pay $500 to the theater and help in cleaning afterwards. So $500, if we multiply it by 80, that's 40, right? 40,000, roughly speaking. Another was confidently saying they take permissions to do this. Charlie Kirk's debate at Utah State University was also planned. There was security around and permissions taken, but still it was not accepted. People don't understand being allowed to do something. Hmm. For doing something, being allowed to do something and be allow accepted for doing something are two separate things. Yeah, and like with this whole Diwali thing that has happened, I think it's already been a long video, but let me just share this one thing because that really ticked me. We take a lot of pride in our culture, which we should, but please just understand the significance from a scriptural perspective. That what is it that your cook scriptures try to teach you? Coming to the recent Diwali incident itself, okay. So I just did a basic Google research with this is firecracker and Indian tradition. The first thing that comes, no, they're not a traditional Indian religious custom, but they're related with it. The historical significance of lighting lamps and firecrackers, right? It was linked with Mughal era in a Chinese tradition of gunpowder. So I won't go deeper, but you get the idea that this is something that we have imported, like from China, and then when the Mughals were kind of ruling India, it became a very widespread thing. Diwali, in essence, means lighting the lamp within, lighting light within your ignorance. There could be a lot of researches on this, but this is just a very, very simple Google search. Now, coming to my point, already you see self ignorance, this prevalent ignorance, this culture that we have picked up from our peers. We don't like to question that. We don't take genuine pride in reading what the true scriptures and our texts say. We want to do and replicate behaviors that we have been taught from childhood, having no civic sense, and just replicate that in foreign countries. When asked about stupidity, now, like if I ask these people, like why is it that you left the country in first place, a lot of them would say clean air, clean hygiene, maybe better opportunities, more enforced law and structure. So they want all the good facilities that like their country, which is India in this case, has failed to provide them. When they're getting that opportunity, or let's say you've created that opportunity either through loopholes, through excessive privilege that their parents might have had, they're indulging in the same practices that they heavily critiqued. They are making the outside country so dirty, like the filth that exists within their mind is just being manifested on the out front. When they come to Indians, I've seen a lot of NRIs talking haughtily about, oh, India is so bad, trying to act from a moral superior ground. These people have no civic sense and things like that. And when you see in limelight these practices that come, because I've known personally people who take a very high moralistic stance and then they are doing these same practices that they critique here in the outside countries, making a mess, like not having the basic social decency of things. And due to this, what has been happening now is a lot of people have started picking up a lot of hate among these people, because your actions, they do have a consequence. It's this attitude that whatever happens, like if I have to use Hindi, होता है ना एक prominent saying कि हमारा काम हो जाए भाड़ में जाए जनता, like our work should get done, rest all of others can go to hell. Now this is not about a true, let's say, quote unquote, if I have to use the word Hindu, because these are all quote unquote Hindu traditions, Hindu Indians, uh, like imbibe. I think a true Hindu like Swami Vivekanand or a lot of other great giants that this country has produced, they refuted their own biases, they refuted their own darkness, they walked the path of knowledge. And here we are just strengthening the stereotypes that we have learned from our predominant culture, and we are not wanting to unlearn them, not wanting to integrate. Let's say if we are going in a different culture to learn about them, I think just having that mindset, that ego thing, that wherever I am, that's good, whatever I do, that's good, no one can challenge me, I have so much pride. And when you ask them basic questions about understanding, all of them just go mum. So in the reel of that gentleman which I shared, right, there are actually a lot of reels. So in that reel where that gentleman was saying that please don't come to, you see, you might have seen that people are just dancing like idiots, and towards the end there's like a group of girls dancing in public to the same sexual songs that they critique so vehemently. I think cinema also produces these types of songs because a demand for them exists, and then these type of people become woke activists that India is not very safe for women, quote unquote, when they themselves are partaking in such traditions which are very derogatory and objectifying towards, let's say, women. And what is the type of, I had also seen like in this reel that a small kid, I think maybe 8 to 12 years old girl, is picking up these habits, these patterns. Like, what is it that is going in her mind? We don't want to think of the long term consequences. And that gentleman also mentioned that all of this is kind of banned in US. Like, of course, it varies from state to state, but in general, not blowing crackers up and things like that. And then there was this another reel where Tibet, such a peaceful country which is facing its own share of challenges, instead of going there to find the true, let's say, silence that exists within, we're just indulged in body compulsions, having, and I quote, a fun time, celebrating our limitations, celebrating the restlessness within, the hollowness within. So please, if you see such practices within you, whether you are an NRI, whether you are an Indian, uh, it's high time that at least we should start questioning them, because these have long-term consequences. Like, I'm not even talking from an immigration perspective right now, I'm just talking from the perspective of Mother Earth, from an ecological perspective. If you're throwing dump, let's say, Pepsi cans, Red Bull cans, whatnot, of so many drinks out in the open, these have long term consequences. And you're, I don't know, like, hypocrisy is so glaring in our blood that sometimes these things just boil your blood down. I don't know, like, I have seen like a lot of, let's say, quote unquote, my foreign friends, if I have to use the term from a racial perspective, who are not Asians and not Indians, they always have a very, you can say, not so good, if I have to use the term, a racist attitude towards our practices, saying that like, these things just trigger them, not having a basic sense of decency, having pride unnecessarily for I don't know what not doing a lot of great things. And a lot of their encounters, let's say, you might have seen a lot of reels where women are also subjected to so derogatory remarks, so derogatory sometimes practices, inappropriately being touched, not being made to feel safe, carrying all that junk. So these are, I think, challenges which you, if you consider yourself as an Indian, and if you want to take, mm, let's say, more pride in our culture, you need to reconnect with the scriptures. You need to question not stories, but start reading the core philosophical texts and see what exactly do they mean when they talk about dissolving your ego, and not indulging in such practices just for the sake of it. And I don't know, I think these were like 2 cents. This is like super, super irritating. But let me know what you feel about it. And until then, this is Debashish Pindra from Debu Ki Dastak signing off. Cheers. Bye.